So, Ray, tell us a bit about Bob's Burgers.
Alright, well, I wanted to catch this series, or take a little squiz, because it's already airing Season 2, and Season 3 just got the green light. Now, I hadn't really heard much about it. There's not a lot of talk about this. It sort of slipped under the radar. I only just heard about it last month. And so, is it a sleeper hit? Is it a snoozy? I kind of want to know what you guys think about it. You can catch it Wednesday nights on Channel 11 at 10 p.m. But let's just take a step back.
Yep.
Bob's Burgers, okay. Bob's Burgers is an American animated sitcom created by Lorraine Bouchard for Fox. Now, the series centers on the Belchers. Parents Bob and Linda and their children, Tina, Jean, and Louise, all help to run a hamburger restaurant. Now, since its debut on January 9, 2011, Bob's Burgers has received mixed reviews from media critics. Metacritic scores it at 53 out of 100.
So it's pretty much it's a fairly tough one, isn't it? It's polarised audiences. It certainly did to our crew when we were discussing it earlier.
Yes.
But and personally, I don't think it's going to have mass appeal.
No, me either. I don't know, it's hard to peg this one. It's not South Park and it's not Family Guy. It kind of lies somewhere in between.
Yeah, which some people would say is the perfect balance.
Yeah, I'd say it's a perfect recipe. It's all good in theory, but I don't know, while I'm enjoying it on one level, it's kind of, I don't know, I'm not Rolf Mayo. Well, yeah, no, I shouldn't say that out loud, right? I should only type it.
It's a typing thing.
Oh, yeah. I'm not one of those people. Lol. Anyway, I'm not rolling around on the floor laughing my ass off, is what I'm trying to say. But what I do enjoy is the kind of witty dialogue. It's fresh, and I don't know, the writing's quite good, which is enough to keep me chuckling along through the episodes. What's interesting is that it blends the different styles of comedy, so mainly through the younger characters, between Tina's fanaticism with Jimmy Jr. and her sardonic wit. Then we've got Jean's lowbrow toilet humour and Louise's sharp psychological terror. We get a kind of different taste of humour. It's a sitcom, so there's, as I said, there's no overall story, arc. But at times some of the history is prevalent in later episodes, so that's kind of good. There's a little bit of story development there with the characters. What I like best is that it's refreshing to have the father figure as the straight man while the rest of the family play out the quirks. Because we don't need another leading husband idiot like Homer or Peter Griffin. They're great in their own right, but look, Bob is kind of funny in his own subtle way. He's usually in that he's the victim of the circumstances created by the others around him.
The animation is a little crude, there's nothing flashy, and it's a little quirky.
Yeah.
They have some original songs in the series as well, which is pretty cool. That's a nice thing to add.
It is. Kudos to them
Absolutely.
for doing that.
Are they catchy? No, not really.
No, I'm not really impressed with them either. No. And the character voices, well, it took me a while for my ear to sort of adjust to the female character, Tina, being voiced by a male actor. It's actually a kind of cool concept, but it seemed foreign. I couldn't quite get a handle on it in the world that Lorraine had created. I don't know, what did you think?
No, well, there was one voice in particular that kind of jarred me, which was the voice of Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Voiced by H. John Benjamin, who did Sterling Archer in the series Archer, and I absolutely love this man.
Yes.
But see, the problem is Bob has the same kind of dry sarcasm that Archer does. So honestly, I'd rather watch Archer or even Venture Brothers, which does make me actually laugh, rather than continue watching Bob's Burgers, which just kind of makes me smirk a little. And does Tina remind you of anyone?
Daria, albeit a milder-mannered and less confident version, but still Daria all the same.
Yeah, I feel like there's too many ideas and some of them are quite archetypal and they just haven't quite gelled together.
No.
What this basically means is I'm going to give it a berry, which I don't like doing, as you all know, but there were elements of it that made me smile, but not enough to make me actually want to continue watching the show. Do I care about these characters? No, not really, and certainly not for long.
No, exactly, I think that's where you hit the nail on the head. The characters, well, look, now I can pick up season 1 of Family Guy or South Park and still have a laugh, but after watching an episode of Bob's Burgers, look, I feel like I've gotten everything I'm going to get out of it, and there's nothing really compelling me to re-watch it. I think they could have solved this by kind of having a larger story arc that sort of continued from season to season, and instead, as is, the humour's not good enough to keep me going back after the first watch. If they had have developed more of that storyline and perhaps even had the characters sort of grow within that time frame, would have been much more interesting. And then I don't know, then the humour would have been much more interesting and would have lived better within the dramatic framework.
Yeah.
It would have been an awesome show, a completely different show as well. So, look, I'm not going to give this one a buy, and if I saw it sitting on Al's shelf, I'm not going to ask him to borrow it. So, I'm going to have to say berry as well.
It's a
Sorry,
berry
Bob,
show.
not buying your
Sorry,
burgers,
Bob.
buddy. Gonna go have a pie.
Yeah.